All right, let's just jump right in, shall we? Welcome to this explainer where we're going to unpack something I find truly fascinating. We live in an era of honestly unprecedented convenience, and yet so many of us feel completely exhausted all the time. Today, we are going to translate the really profound ancient Shaolin wisdom of Master Shi Hang Yi into a highly practical framework. The goal here? To conquer our modern crisis of burnout and choice overload by using actionable insights straight from a martial arts master. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be walking through the modern hidden epidemic, doing versus being, the 5 hindrances, the RAIN method, training your virtues, and finally, the path to peace. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, the modern hidden epidemic, specifically the biological imbalance of modern society. Before we can even begin to fix the problem, we really have to confront a deeply relatable question. It's one a lot of us think but maybe don't say out loud. Is this all my life is? Master Shi Hang Yi points out this massive surge in people feeling profoundly lonely, intensely anxious, and just utterly paralyzed by an overload of choice. If you have ever felt stuck on a hamster wheel of endless striving only to be met with this persistent dissatisfaction, well, you are definitely not alone. We have infinite options, what to watch, where to work, who to date, but this endless diversity actually makes it incredibly difficult to figure out which direction is the right one. So, what's actually causing this? The root physical cause of our anxiety really comes down to a dangerous imbalance. Think about it. We invest massive amounts of energy into overthinking, right? Planning 5, 10 years into the future, completely draining our mental batteries. Meanwhile, our physical energy expenditure is dangerously low. We just sit all day. The human body was absolutely not designed to sit in one place doing purely mental work. This severe disbalance, huge mental strain with low physical output, translates directly into anxiety. It creates this feeling of continuously searching without ever being satisfied. Moving into Section 2, doing versus being, and the exhaustion of chasing. The contrast between these two states is a real game changer. Most of us are totally trapped in the doing state. And why do we constantly feel the need to do things? Because deep down, we feel a sense of lack. We set goals to acquire things, like a new car, a fancy job title, a specific relationship, mostly to nourish this rigid identity we're trying to project to everyone else. The result of that? Constant striving and anxiety. On the flip side, being comes from recognizing a connection to a universal source. When you're connected to that source, there is nothing to add to you and nothing to take away. You literally lack nothing. Your motivation shifts from acquiring to simply experiencing existence exactly as it is. Which brings us to this huge, paradigm-shifting reality check from Master Shi Hang Yi. He says, your attainment maximum is going to last 100 years. Wow. Just let that sink in. Whatever you are stressing yourself out to build, whatever title or possession you are sacrificing your peace to get hold of, you only get to keep it for a maximum of a century, and then it's gone. Realizing the total senselessness of wasting decades stressing over temporary material goals is a massive first step toward letting go. So how do we achieve this freedom? Try this mental shift. Imagine you are the director of your own avatar. Picture yourself stepping entirely out of your physical body and looking down at yourself, sitting right where you are right now. If your life is a movie and you are the director, how do you want to write the next scene? This kind of detachment stops you from taking the immediate struggles of your avatar so seriously. You can acknowledge the hard times, for sure, without making them your entire identity. Okay, part 3, the 5 hindrances. These are the mental blockages to self-mastery. According to Shaolin teachings, there are 5 specific mental states that just completely scatter our focus. First is sensual desire, meaning you get way too easily distracted by pleasure. Second is ill will, or aversion, where you spend all your energy pushing away things you dislike or avoiding discomfort. Third is dullness, basically a severe lack of motivation. Fourth is restlessness, that inability to focus on the present moment. And fifth is skeptical doubt, which is simply not trusting yourself. Look, whether you're constantly pulling pleasure toward you or violently pushing discomfort away, you're creating ripples in your own water. You're drawing energy away from your actual goals. Honestly, think of life kind of like Super Mario. You're going to keep facing the exact same problems, the exact same painful relationship dynamics, and the exact same emotional triggers until you learn to beat the level 1 boss. The universe is just not going to hand you the challenges of level 2 until you prove you've mastered level 1. If you don't break your current pattern, you're just never going to advance.
which perfectly tees up Section 4, the RAIN method. This is your practical toolkit for overcoming those obstacles.
This RAIN acronym is super powerful because it helps you stop an emotional explosion before the whole house burns down. Here's how it works. Step 1, recognize. Realize exactly which of those 5 hindrances you're currently feeling. Step 2, accept. Don't judge it, just acknowledge that it's there. Step 3, investigate. You gotta be a detective here. What specific email, passing comment, or thought lit this flame earlier in the day? And step 4, non-identification. Remind yourself that you are not your emotions. You're the director observing the avatar experiencing them. If you grab that root trigger early, the fire goes out.
Moving to Section 5, training your virtues or building your mental muscles.
We really need to flip our understanding of character on its head. A lot of us think of virtues as innate gifts, right? You either have them or you don't. But in the Shaolin tradition, a virtue is a behavioral pattern that must be actively conditioned. Think about Master Shi Heng Yi breaking a solid stone brick. It's not about raw magical strength. It is about years of conditioning the bone and training his focus. Virtues are exactly the same. They require reps. You have to actively build them through daily practice. To make this actionable, the tradition breaks virtues down into 2 main buckets: virtues of action and virtues of the mind. Virtues of action, like loyalty, respect, courage, are all about how you behave outwardly. But here's the secret sauce. You absolutely cannot maintain those outer actions when things get tough unless you train the virtues of the mind. Things like patience, persistence, and perseverance. That is the inner mental fortitude required to nourish and sustain your outward actions when the world pushes back. And that leads right into this incredibly empowering truth. The master is already sitting inside of each individual. Let that sink in. You don't need to outsource your well-being. You don't need some external guru to come and run your life for you. Your job is simply to train your virtues to bring out the best version of yourself, relying entirely on the internal master that is already in there. This brings us to our final part, Section 6, the path to peace, moving beyond fleeting happiness. We really have to look at the crucial difference between happiness and peace. We are all basically conditioned to chase happiness, but happiness is dualistic. If something can rise, it can fall. If you acquire something to make you happy, you will inevitably fear losing it. Peace, however, is stable. It's totally internal and rooted in your willingness to let go. In fact, true mastery in traditions like Chan Buddhism is literally measured by how willing and ready you are to let go of your possessions and your attachments. It's not that you can't have nice things, it's about making sure those nice things don't possess you. Turns out, there are pretty much exactly 3 ways humans learn this difficult lesson of letting go. Number 1, you stubbornly pursue a goal, finally get it, realize it doesn't actually fulfill you, and then painfully experience the loss. Number 2, you copy the lifestyle of a trusted mentor who has already figured it out. Or number 3, you engage in deep internal contemplation, realizing the truth of letting go before you even have to suffer through the pain. The choice of how you learn is entirely yours. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. Look back at just the last 7 days. What was your most disturbing emotion? What blocked your energy the most? Because listen, if you do nothing about it, it will be there next month and next year, acting as that level 1 boss you just refuse to beat. Use the RAIN method. Train your mind. Take control of your avatar. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to actively begin your journey to self-mastery today.